us the premises as well. The boys from Lina at Stocklands for their donation of the food that you hopefully are enjoying today. There are lots of other people we need to thank that have believed in Mickey and I's passion for this movie and bringing it here. Without your contribution and without you people here today, we'd have an empty hall, really. I hope this movie touches you the way it touched me when I drove to Taree to watch it. I'm sure you will all find something in it that you can all relate to in one way or another. So can I firstly and foremost ask you to turn off your mobiles or put it on silent. The bar will open again after the movie, and then I think we're going to follow with some questions and answers where Sean can answer any of your questions you might have about the movie, why he's done it, etc., etc. And I'll hand it over to Sean.
Down. So it's beautiful to be here in Australia to present Apparition Hill at the same time that the movie is showing in the box offices in theaters in other places in the world. Really, when we set out to make Apparition Hill, we had no idea really that it would gain the traction that it has, that it would be seen by so many people. And the most beautiful thing to us is that we're a very tiny company, but the story is what's spreading around, really. It's a grassroots thing. People are talking about it after they go and see it. So if the movie inspires you, please talk about it, after you see it. Maybe it'll come to the big box office here in Australia like it is in the US and Mexico and Ireland and other places. Because that's really the place where we feel like people who don't know about Medjugorje can learn about it. If it can get into the wide public. We're finding people in the theaters in the US, for example, right now, people are going to see the movie and they think it's like a ghost story or something because it's, Apparition Hill, they have no idea. They come out wanting to know more about Medjugorje or wanting to go there. So I'll tell you a little bit now about how the film came about, because it really started after, I've been to Medjugorje I think 40 times. I went there when I was 20 for the first time. I'm 37 now. And at the time I was not a believer in anything like this. It just seemed kind of crazy to me. So I went there. My mom actually brought me there. She wanted me to go. She had her own conversion, if you will, there. And I was so impressed by the place, and it really changed my heart in such a big way that all I wanted to do after that was share the story. When I went there, I was a senior in university, and I was studying filmmaking and creative writing. And when my plans then were maybe hopefully get a job in Hollywood, do something, definitely not something like this. So when I went there, it totally changed the way I was thinking, and I came home just wanting to share the message, and I found out after going there many, many times, I will say I was so skeptical of the claims. It took me a few times of going there to really firmly believe it, but after a little bit I did. But at the same time, I would go on pilgrimage like a lot of people go to Medjugorje, and I would see that there was this bond between people. People would be brought together from all walks of life, all ages, and by the end of just a week there would be this amazing bond that I'd never seen in any other circumstance. And I think that's where the idea for this film came about. I've made about 7 documentaries about Medjugorje and about Marian apparitions, different ones. My last one was called The Triumph. It did show in Australia a few places, and that one did show in theaters, but this one's going farther than that. So with Apparition Hill, I really wanted to kind of do an experiment in a way. So I wanted to see if we could capture on film that before, during, and after effect of a pilgrimage. But to do that, I wanted to also make it like a very objective thing so that people who are not, say, Catholic, not Christian, not religious at all, could watch the film and still get something out of it. So I had a contest online, and I invited people to submit a video diary in a way, a plea. Why would they want to go to Medjugorje? I was giving away 5 free trips to the place, of course, to film them, and we got hundreds of entries. And the ones we chose, we tried to get a diverse cast. You know, we tried to find people that were skeptical, people that were believers but struggling with different things, and you'll see in the film who we chose. What I didn't expect was how much not only the group bonded, but how much we bonded. The crew bonded with the people that we brought. And even today, we're still like a big family, which is really an amazing thing. So watching their experience, for me, I've seen when people watch it, they go through kind of the whole pilgrimage experience themselves, and that's something that we're really excited about bringing to the rest of the world, that Medjugorje experience. And I know that there's so many Croatians here, and one thing I got a question: why is an American guy interested in what's happening in Medjugorje so much that he would make films about it? And for me, I think one beautiful thing about Medjugorje, it just transcends that whole area, and it reaches around the world, and it draws people from all around the world to the point that, now when you go there, you see people speaking Korean and, waving flags from Lebanon, and there's just so many people that go there, and the message is just going around the world. The other thing, while I was making this film, I got an amazing opportunity to help the visionary Mariana write her autobiography. As I said, I was studying creative writing in school, and it was something that I never imagined that I would have the opportunity to help with. And I had always wanted to ask her if I could help tell her story to the world, because her story is just so profound. She experienced probably the worst of all the suffering out of the visionaries, because she was from Sarajevo, and the communists brought her back to Sarajevo after the apparitions began. And you'll see a lot of Mariana in the movie. But just telling her story, in the book, to me was an amazing thing, and it kind of gelled a lot with the film. So now that the film is showing all over the world, it seems like the book was meant to be in a way, because it kind of tells the whole story, where the film, I think, whets people's appetite for learning more about Medjugorje. So I won't talk too much now, but after the film, if you guys want to stay and ask me any questions, and I'll give you guys a little more background about what happened to the crew and the cast behind the scenes, because really there was a lot more that happened that didn't end up in the film, really because we can't fit it all into a film, but also it's a film about the people we took and not really about us. But I'd say just as many amazing things happened behind the scenes as you'll see. And I'd say, again, the most beautiful thing is just the bonding that occurred between all the people, and hopefully you guys will, in a way, bond with them, even though you don't know them, and hopefully get something out of each of their stories. So without further ado, I'd like to present Apparition Hill, and thank you for coming.